Hello students, welcome to AKR chemistry classes. In the last class I taught the general properties of group 17. In the group 17 chapter we have learned the general properties of the elements. What are those elements? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. We have been discussed with respect to atomic radius. We have been discussed with respect to ionization energy, electron affinity as well as electronegativity. With respect to chemical reactions, I taught reaction with oxygen, reaction with hydrogen as well as reaction with halogens only, interhalogen compounds. In all these three we have learned stability and their reactivity. And I also taught anomalous behavior of fluorine, and we have been stopped the class. Today we need to move further. Today I am going to discuss the preparation and properties of chlorine. In this class we are going to deal with preparation and properties of chlorine. First, preparation and properties of chlorine, followed by structures of oxo acids. Okay. So chlorine, it is a diatomic molecule and it is always exist in gaseous state at normal room temperature and pressure, which is greenish yellow in color. By lab method, it is prepared by the lab method. In lab method, when manganese dioxide untreated with concentrated sulfuric acid, when manganese dioxide is heated in presence of concentrated hydrochloric acid, we get chlorine gas get liberated. How the reaction takes place? Manganese dioxide, MnO2, it can be written as like this, Mn plus 2, O2 minus, and HCl, H plus Cl minus ion. Manganese combines with chlorine to form manganese chloride. It forms MnCl2. Since concentrated hydrochloric acid acts as a dehydrating agent, therefore it liberates water molecule H plus and O minus. And we are preparing the chlorine gas which get released from HCl. So minus 1 get converted into 0, means HCl undergoes oxidation in presence of manganese dioxide to form chlorine, whereas manganese dioxide undergoes reduction to form manganese chloride. So now we need to balance this equation. So 2 plus 2, 4, therefore we get 4 HCl, manganese 1, manganese N, water, H2, 2 H2, therefore oxygen, we get completely balanced. We can observe here. So when manganese dioxide is heated with concentrated HCl, we get manganese chloride with the liberation of chlorine gas. Here HCl undergoes oxidation to form chlorine gas. Or one more method we can do it. When manganese dioxide is treated with common salt in presence of concentrated sulfuric acid. In presence of concentrated sulfuric acid, chlorine gas get liberated. The next method, when potassium permanganate are treated with concentrated hydrochloric acid. When potassium permanganate are treated with concentrated hydrochloric acid, it oxidizes to produce chlorine gas. Potassium permanganate, K plus Mn2 plus O2 minus. Potassium permanganate untreated with concentrated HCl, H plus Cl minus. First, when potassium combines with chlorine, it forms potassium chloride. Manganese combines with chlorine, it forms manganese chloride. Hydrogen combines with oxygen to form water molecule, and this compound undergoing oxidation in presence of this compound with the liberation of chlorine gas. This is a method of learning the equation. So when potassium permanganate are treated with concentrated hydrochloric acid, chlorine gas get liberated. And very important method is Deacons process. Manufacture of chlorine by Deacons process. In this process, the gaseous hydrogen chloride. 1 minute. It is not hydrochloric acid, it is hydrogen chloride. HCl in gaseous state it is considered as hydrogen chloride. In liquid state it is called as hydrochloric acid. When hydrogen chloride are subjected to oxidation in presence of atmospheric air by using a suitable catalyst, chlorine gas get liberated, means HCl get oxidized to chlorine gas. 0, this is minus 1. So when hydrogen chloride are subjected to oxidation in presence of atmospheric air in presence of copper chloride as a suitable catalyst, it liberates chloride gas. One more method is there, by electrolysis process. In this case, we are using brine solution. What is meant by brine solution? Saturated solution of sodium chloride. Saturated solution of sodium chloride is called as brine solution. It is taken in Nelson cell. This is the cell, or this is the instrument we are using for the preparation of chlorine gas by electrolytic process. In Nelson cell, cathode acts as U-shaped tube, anode acts as graphite, and this is the ionic reaction. At anode, chlorine gas get liberated. Because of oxidation, and at cathode, hydrogen gas get liberated because it undergo reduction reaction. So these concepts I am going to teach you properly when I give the information about electrochemistry. Under electrochemistry, we are going to deal with concepts of electrolysis. At the time, I will give the proper explanation for this. Okay, please note it down. Coming to properties of chlorine. It is a greenish yellow colored gas and pungent and suffocating odor at NTP condition. It is slightly soluble in water. By forming hydrochloric acid as well as hypochlorous acid. Then coming to a reaction with metals and non-metals. Whenever the metals and non-metals is made to react with chlorine, we get the respective chlorides. We are getting the respective chlorides. For example, you can observe sodium untreated with chlorine, we get sodium chloride, magnesium chloride, aluminum chloride, a ferric chloride. All these are collectively called as salts also. Whenever they are treated with non-metals such as hydrogen, phosphorus and sulfur, hydrogen chloride, phosphorus trichloride, sulfuryl chloride, which are all covalent molecules. Chlorine has got higher or greater affinity towards hydrogen. Therefore, whenever this chlorine is made to react with compounds of hydrogen or hydrogen, it involved in the formation of major product hydrogen chloride. These are the example. Hydrogen combines with chlorine to form hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen sulfide untreated with chlorine molecule, it forms hydrogen chloride. Here, this hydrogen sulfide get oxidized to sulfur. Therefore, chlorine acts as a suitable oxidizing agent. Chlorine untreated with methane, we get hydrogen chloride with the liberation of carbon. -4, this is 0. This is +2, this is 0. Next, when hydrocarbons are untreated with chlorine gas, we get these compounds. Means, whenever the chlorine is made to react with hydrogen or compounds containing hydrogen, we are getting the major product as hydrogen chloride. Sorry, this oxidation state is -2 but not +2. Coming to reaction with ammonia. When chlorine molecule, it is very important for your KSET as well as your 12th level examination. When chlorine molecule is made to react with excess of ammonia, if I made to react with excess of ammonia, then the major product will be ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride will be the major product with the liberation of nitrogen. But when the excess of chlorine is made to react with the limited supply of ammonia, then the major product will be a highly explosive compound, that is nitrogen trichloride. So this plays a very important role in your 12th exam as well as KSET. Then major reactions with cold and hard alkalis. Very important for your class 12 as well as KSET. When cold and dilute solution of sodium hydroxide are treated with chlorine gas, or chlorine gas is allowed to pass over cold and dilute sodium hydroxide solution, it forms sodium chloride as well as sodium hypochlorite. In second case, when cold and dilute potassium hydroxide solution is treated with chlorine gas, or chlorine gas is allowed to pass over cold and dilute potassium hydroxide solution, we get potassium chloride along with potassium hypochlorite. In both the cases, you can observe The oxidation state of chlorine changes from 0 to -1, 0 to +1. One is reduction, another one is oxidation. One is reduction, another one is oxidation. Means here simultaneous oxidation and reduction reaction take place, and same element having different oxidation number. Therefore, such reactions are called as disproportionation reaction. When chlorine gas is allowed to pass over hot and concentrated, now not dilute, now it is passed over hot and concentrated sodium hydroxide solution, we get sodium chloride along with sodium chlorate, ATE. When calcium hydroxide, hot and concentrated calcium hydroxide are treated with chlorine gas, we get calcium chloride as well as calcium chloride. Dilute solution, chloride; concentrated solution, chloride. And both the reactions are disproportionation reactions. Both the reactions are disproportionation reactions. Reaction with dry sacred lime, very important. Preparation of bleaching powder, that's all. Preparation of bleaching powder. Commercially it is called as sacred lime, but chemically it is called as calcium hydroxide. When chlorine gas is allowed to pass over aqueous solution of sacred lime, when chlorine gas is allowed to pass over aqueous solution of sacred lime at a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius, calcium hypochlorite is obtained. Calcium hypochlorite is obtained, which is nothing but bleaching powder. Which is nothing but bleaching powder. Please note down this equation. But actually the reaction is like this. When calcium hydroxide untreated chlorine gas is allowed to pass over the sacred lime, we get calcium hypochlorite with the liberation of calcium chloride and water. Again, these two components reacts with excess of sacred lime to form this composition. So if I write the overall reaction, this will be the chemical composition of bleaching powder. Definitely they are going to ask for 1 marks, or they are going to ask in your CET or NEET level examination. Composition plays very important role. You should have to by heart it. Either you can write it as H2O.H2O, or you can write it as 2H2O here. This one. Note it down. Okay? Good. Next, coming to reactions with hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons are broadly classified into two types, saturated and unsaturated. I think you know the meaning of saturated and unsaturated. When methane untreated with chlorine in presence of diffuse sunlight, it undergoes free radical mechanism to form methyl chloride and HCl. If I take excess of methane, methyl chloride will be the major product. If I take excess of chlorine, carbon tetrachloride will be the major product. With unsaturated hydrocarbons, when unsaturated hydrocarbons are treated with chlorine in presence of normal room temperature and pressure, it undergo addition reaction. It undergo addition reaction to form respective dihalides. Next, coming to oxidizing property. Chlorine acts as a good oxidizing agent. When chlorine is exposed to the moisture, or when chlorine gas is treated with moisture, it liberates nascent oxygen. This nascent oxygen will act as an oxidizing agent. Due to the formation of nascent oxygen, chlorine acts as a oxidizing agent in presence of moisture. For example, ferrous sulfate untreated with chlorine, ferrous sulfate get oxidized to ferric sulfate, +2 oxidation state get converted into +3. Sodium sulfate untreated with aqueous solution of chlorine, we get sodium sulfate, +4 oxidation state get converted into +6. Sulfur dioxide gas unsubjected to oxidation in presence of aqueous solution of chlorine, we get sulfuric acid, +4 to +6. Iodine unsubjected to oxidation in presence of aqueous solution of water, we get iodic acid. Iodic acid is obtained. Iodic acid is obtained. Hydrogen sulfide untreated with aqueous solution of chlorine, we get sulfur. So these are the few examples for the oxidation reactions of chlorine. Coming to the bleaching property concept. Chlorine acts as a powerful bleaching agent because whenever the chlorine comes in contact with the moisture, it liberates nascent oxygen. When this nascent oxygen comes in contact with the colored matter, this colored matter becomes colorless. And this colorless matter cannot be retained to its original color. That colorless matter cannot be retained into original color. It indicates that the bleaching action of chlorine molecule is permanent. The bleaching action of chlorine molecule is permanent due to oxidation. Note it down. These are the uses of chlorine. So better pause the video and try to note it down so that I can move further. Next, Compounds of chlorine. In compounds of chlorine, we are going to deal with hydrogen chloride. In that first preparation, when salts of sodium chloride are treated with concentrated sulfuric acid, it forms sodium bisulfate solution. Sodium bisulfate solution with the liberation of hydrogen chloride gas. Or when sodium chloride solution are treated with concentrated sulfuric acid, it liberates hydrogen gas. Then what is the difference between these two reactions means temperature plays a very important role. Temperature plays a very important role. This reaction takes place at 420 Kelvin. If the reaction takes place at 420 Kelvin, the byproduct will be sodium bisulfate. If the same reaction is carried out at high temperature, that is 823 Kelvin, then the byproduct will be sodium sulfate. So make sure that you should have to memorize the conditions. The HCl gas which is obtained during this method, it is dried by passing through concentrated sulfuric acid because it contains a limited or traceless amount of moisture. Coming to the properties of hydrogen chloride. It is a colorless and pungent smelling gas. It can be easily liquefied by applying certain pressure. And this colorless liquid possesses boiling point 189 Kelvin with the melting point 159 Kelvin. It is extremely soluble in water. Whenever it is treated with water, it undergoes complete ionization by forming H3O plus ion as well as Cl minus ion. That is hydrochloric acid obtained when hydrogen chloride gas is treated with water. Hydrogen chloride gas undergo complete dissociation in water by producing hydrochloric acid which undergo complete ionization. Therefore, it possesses high dissociation constant value. Therefore, it is considered as very strong acid. To explain it is a strong acid, hydrochloric acid is not only strong acid, but hydrogen chloride gas also acts as an acid. Because when hydrogen chloride gas are treated with ammonia gas, it involved in the formation of dense white fumes, crystals or gases which is called as ammonium chloride. It is a salt which is obtained by the reaction between acid and base. Therefore, in this reaction it acts as an acid and it acts as a base. Coming to aqua regia. This is a chemical compound which is used to dissolve the noble metals like gold, silver and platinum. Gold, silver, platinum are called as noble metals because they always exist in their native or negate forms. They neither react with concentrated sulfuric acid or concentrated hydrochloric acid under normal or at high temperature. Therefore, they prepared a new composition to dissolve these three noble metals. That compound or that solvent name is called as aqua regia. What is aqua regia? 1 volume of concentrated nitric acid mixed with 3 volumes of concentrated hydrochloric acid. 1 volume of concentrated nitric acid is mixed with the 3 volumes of concentrated hydrochloric acid is called as aqua regia. It is used to dissolve the gold in the form of respective chlorides and platinum in the form of respective chlorides. Then coming to reaction with salt. When dilute hydrochloric acid, whenever the dilute hydrochloric acid are treated with the compounds like carbonate and sulfides, they easily decompose to form respective chlorides with the liberation of carbon dioxide or sulfur dioxide gas. For example, when sodium carbonate are treated with the dilute hydrochloric acid, it forms sodium chloride with the liberation of carbon dioxide and water. Sodium bisulfate are treated with dilute hydrochloric acid, it undergoes decomposition to form NaCl, water and carbon dioxide gas. When sodium sulfite are treated with dilute hydrochloric acid, it forms sodium chloride with the liberation of sulfur dioxide gas and water. So these are the uses of hydrogen chloride. There's one question in your NCERT book, and this question asked many number of times repeatedly. When hydrochloric acid are treated with finely divided iron metal, iron powder, when hydrochloric acid are treated with a finely divided iron powder, it forms ferric chloride but not ferrous chloride. It forms ferrous chloride but not ferric chloride. Give reason. Very simple question. When concentrated hydrochloric acid is treated with a finely divided iron powder, ferrous chloride is obtained but not ferric chloride. Give reason. The reason is, during this process hydrogen gas get liberated, which prevents further reaction or further oxidation of ferrous chloride to ferric chloride. Hydrogen do not allow this ferrous to convert into ferric. Note it down. Coming to next. Structures of oxo acids of chlorine. Structures of oxo acids of chlorine. Not halogen. You should have write chlorine. The major product in this case, I will take it as HClO3, which is called as chloric acid, which is considered as chloric acid. Okay, right? If I remove only one oxygen atom from this component, it can be written as HClO2. HClO2. Now what happens as soon as I remove one oxygen atom, the composition becomes HClO2 and the name of the compound is called as chlorous acid. Chloric acid get converted into chlorous acid. If I remove two oxygen atoms, from this major component, from chloric acid, I'll get the composition like this: HClO. The name of the compound is hypochlorous acid is obtained. If I add only one oxygen atom to the same molecule, I'll get HClO4. And the name of the compound is, by the addition of one oxygen atom, we can write it as per. If I remove one oxygen atom, chlorous. If I remove two oxygen atom, hypochlorous. If I added one oxygen atom, per chloric acid. Now check the oxidation state. This is +5, addition +7, removed one oxygen atom, +3, removed two oxygen atom, +1. That's all. +5 oxidation state. By the addition of one oxygen atom, you get +7. By the removal of one oxygen atom, +3. By the removal of two oxygen atoms, you get +1 oxidation state. First, I'll write the structure of hypochlorous acid. The composition is HClO. In all the cases, chlorine acts as a central atom. And what is the electronic configuration of chlorine? Neon 3s2, 3px2, 3py2, 3pz1. So this hypochlorous acid, how can I write it as? HOCl. Oxygen atom, always try it. If there is hydrogen atom is there, first we should have to make that oxygen atom should get bonded to the hydrogen in the form of OH. So this is chlorine. So this is one unpaired electron is there. This unpaired electron get bonded with one oxygen atom and it is bonded with hydroxyl group. So totally how many electrons are there on chlorine atom? 7 electrons. Out of 7 electron, 1 electron involved in the bond formation and remaining 3 lone pair electrons present on the chlorine molecule. So 2 plus 2 4, 4 plus 2 6, 6 plus 2 8. Okay. Next coming to chlorous acid, HClO2, or I can rewrite this one as hydrogen atom combines with an oxygen atom, then chlorine combines with an oxygen atom. Okay. Now chlorine is a central metal atom. So it always bound with the hydroxyl group only with single bond. and oxygen is non-metal, chlorine is also non-metal, and chlorine always bonded with oxygen atom with a double bond in this case, in case of oxo acids of chlorine. And remaining are two lone pair electrons. Here it is one lone pair electron, and here it is one lone pair electron. Note it down. Coming to next, chloric acid, HClO3, OH, Cl, O2, means in this is a chlorine. Out of 7 electron, 1 electron involved in the bond formation with hydroxyl group. Still 6 electrons are there. Out of 6 electrons, 2 electrons involved in the bond formation with the oxygen atom, and remaining one lone pair electron is there. Then coming to the perchloric acid. In case of perchloric acid, I'll write like this. OH, ClO3. Okay. Then chlorine will be here. Single bond, double bond O, double bond O, double bond O. So in all these three cases, in this case, all the lone pair electrons involved in the bond formation with oxygen as well as hydroxyl group therefore do not contain any unpaired electrons. Please note it down. In your case, there may be question arises that out of these four compounds, which is more stable and which is least stable? To identify the stability, first we need to identify the oxidation state of chlorine atom in each and every case. In this case, it is +7, +5, +3, +1. And I already given the information that any element in the given compound, if it possesses higher oxidation state, then it is more stable in nature. Based upon this, perchloric acid is more stable than chloric acid is more stable than chlorous acid, and chlorous acid is more stable than hypochlorous acid. And the second question is, out of these four, which compound is more acidic and least acidic in nature? I think you can solve and you can send me the answer. Which compounds is more acidic and least acidic in nature? Coming to the next important part of group 17 elements, that is interhalogen compounds. What are interhalogen compounds? Means these are the compounds which are obtained by two different halogen atoms. Compounds which are obtained by combining two different halogen atoms are called as interhalogen compounds. And these compounds are neutral and covalent in nature. Why two halogen atoms are combined with nature? The reason is due to their large difference in electronegative values and due to their large difference and their size. Large difference in electronegative value, large difference in size of both the halogen atoms, they combine with each other to form a new compound that is called as interhalogen compounds, which are represented by the general formula X and X dash. If I check the electronegativity between X and X dash, it is less electronegative element and it is more electronegative element. Always the central atom should possess a lower electronegative value when compared to the other halogen atom which is bounded to it. These are the examples. It can form total 4 types of interhalogen compounds. XX dash, this one, and this one. These are the 4 types of interhalogen compounds are obtained. Please pause the video and note it down. As the size of the central atom or lower electronegative atom, halogen atom increases, it can accommodate more number of higher electronegative halogen atom. Thermostability. Therefore, based on this, I can explain the thermostability is like this. This is the thermostability. Iodine possesses least electronegative in nature when compared to chlorine as well as bromine. And this thermal stability depends also on the electronegativity difference. From here to here, the electronegativity difference increases, therefore stability also increases. Hence, iodine pentafluoride is more easily formed when compared to bromopentafluoride and chloropentafluoride. Interhalogen compounds are formed by fluorine are more stable in nature, and this is the stability order. And this will be the stability order, because from fluorine to chlorine, chlorine to bromine, the electronegativity value decreases. Coming to the preparations of interhalogen compounds by direct combination. When 1:1 mixture of chlorine is heated with fluorine, we get this compound, or 1:3, we get this compound. Halogen reacts with another interhalogen compound to form new interhalogen compounds. For that, these are the two examples. Coming to the properties of interhalogen compounds. Interhalogen compounds can exist in three states of matter: gases, liquids, as well as solids. For that, I have given the examples. All the interhalogen compounds are covalent and diamagnetic in nature. All the interhalogen compounds are covalent and diamagnetic in nature. Interhalogen compounds are more reactive than halogen. Normal halogen. Interhalogen compounds are more reactive than normal halogen due to the maximum electronegative difference. So this is the order of reactivity of interhalogen compounds. Pause the video and please note it down. Coming to the hydrolysis, very important. Hydrolysis of interhalogen compounds. Interhalogen compounds on subjected to hydrolysis, it forms halogen acid plus oxyhalogen acid. These are the few examples I have given. These are the interhalogen compounds which are subjected to hydrolysis. First they form halogen acid, then they involved in the formation of oxyhalogen acids. And very important part is this one. When iodoheptafluoride are subjected to hydrolysis, we get orthoperiodic acid. It acts as a sterilized agent for the containers used in the milk production. Then coming to the next very important concept, that is structures of interhalogen compounds. In that first one, XX dash type. We know that any atom of halogen contains 7 electrons. If you take any halogen atom, the outermost electronic configuration is NH2, NPX2, NPY2 and NPZ1. This is the outermost electronic configuration. In case of X and X dash type, for example, I will take an example like this: ClF, chlorofluoride, which is a central atom. Lower electronegative atom acts as a central atom, that is chlorine. How many electrons are there in chlorine? 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all lone pair electrons, and this is considered as bond pair electron, which get bonded with the fluorine atom like this. So this is one lone pair electron, this is second lone pair electron, and this is third lone pair electron. Therefore, what is the type of hybridization it may undergo? It should have to undergo sp3 hybridization. And we know that if any molecule undergo sp3 hybridization, it should possess tetrahedral shape. But due to the presence of lone pair electrons, it possesses distorted tetrahedral geometry. Distorted tetrahedral geometry or structure it has got. Next one, X dash 3. So X is the central metal atom. For example, I will take ClF3. I can give many examples. ClF3, boron trifluoride, iodo trichloride, examples. So this is the central atom. Central atom will be less electronegative when compared to the atoms which are bounded to it. So central atom, I will take ClF3 as an example. Cl will be the center. So how many fluorine atoms are there? Total 3 fluorine atoms are there. In this case, it contains 3 fluorine atoms. Fluorine. 1, 2, 3 electrons gone. Out of 7, 3. And 2 more will be in like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and total 7 electrons are there. Now, what type of hybridization it can go? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The type of hybridization is sp3 hybridization. It undergo sp3 hybridization. So what is the shape of the molecule? Bent T-shaped molecule. It has bent T-shaped molecule. Coming to the next, X-5 type. X-5 type. Okay. Iodine, pentafluoride, bromo, pentafluoride we got. So iodo-pentafluoride. Iodine is the central metal atom which contains total 7 electrons in the outermost shell. Out of 7 electrons, 5 electrons involved in the bond formation with fluorine atom. And remaining 1 electron and remaining 2 electrons exist in the form of lone pair. Therefore 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are there. Then what is the type of hybridization? It should be sp3 d2. Then what should be the structure? If any atom undergo sp3 d2 hybridization, it should possess octahedral shape. Therefore, but due to the presence of lone pair electrons, it is considered as distorted octahedral shape, or it is also considered as pyramidal. This is square and this is the pyramid. It possesses, either you can write it as distorted octahedral or square pyramidal shape. The last one. Only one example is there. I have shown this is only one molecule which is more stable in nature. Iodine is bonded with 7 fluorine atoms. Means all the electrons present in the outermost p orbital and s orbital of iodine, they involved in the bond formation in their higher oxidation state due to the presence of vacant d subshell. 3, 4, 5, 6 and this is 7. So what is hybridization? It undergoes sp3 d3 and it has got pentagonal bipyramidal shape. Pentagonal bipyramidal shape. Please note it down. Coming to the uses of interhalogen compounds. So these are the uses of interhalogen compounds. Pause the video and please note it down, children. Okay, students, this completes group 17 elements. So what are the concepts we have studied today? Preparation of chlorine and its properties, preparation and properties of hydrogen chloride, and we also learnt how to write the structures for oxo acids of chlorine. Then we learnt what is the definition of interhalogen compounds. We learnt what are the reasons for the formation of interhalogen compounds. We learnt the preparations of different interhalogen compounds, and also we learned today how to represent the structure for a given interhalogen compounds. So this completes group 17 elements with respect to your class 12 and KSET view. Hope you have been understood the concepts very properly. If you've been understood and if you like, please subscribe and share and like my videos. Thank you very much and have a nice day.